that moment you walk up to the counter, you pull out your phone or your card, you give it a quick little tap, and that's it. You've paid. It's over in a flash. It really does feel like a magic trick. But behind that super simple, seamless moment is some seriously clever tech. So today, let's pull back the curtain and see exactly how the trick is done. I mean, seriously, what is going on there? How does your card, which doesn't have a battery or a power cord, suddenly wake up and have a secure conversation with a payment terminal? What is the secret behind that tap? Well, the secret has a name: Near Field Communication, or NFC for short. And honestly, the whole story is right there in the name. The key word is near. This whole technology is built to let our devices talk to each other, but, and this is the important part, only when they are incredibly close. We're talking less than a couple of inches apart. Okay, so the very first puzzle we have to solve is power. Again, your credit card isn't plugged into anything, there's no little battery pack on the back, so how in the world does it even turn on? Well, it actually pulls its power right out of thin air, and there's a really great analogy to help us get it. Just imagine for a second that the payment terminal is like a river. It's constantly putting out this gentle, invisible current of energy. And your card? Well, your card is like a tiny little water wheel, just waiting for that current. So here's the play-by-play. First, that terminal is always emitting a small magnetic field. That's our river. Now, when you bring your card close, that magnetic field flows through a little antenna that's coiled up inside it, and this movement creates an electric current. Suddenly, our water wheel starts to spin, and that little jolt of electricity is just enough juice to wake up the tiny computer chip on your card. And just like that, it's powered on and ready to go. All right, the card is awake. Now what? Well, it has to make a secure connection. This isn't something you want to broadcast to the whole coffee shop, right? It needs to be a very private conversation. So think of it like trying to get into a really exclusive club. In this scenario, the payment terminal is the bouncer, and he's got a very strict rule. He will only talk to people who are right up at the velvet rope. He's not going to shout across the street. He's not going to listen to chatter from the crowd. You have to be right there, front and center, showing you want to come in. And right there in the NFC world means less than 4 centimeters. That's it. And you know what? That incredibly short distance isn't a flaw. It's maybe the most important security feature of all. It makes it pretty much impossible for a thief to try and skim your data from across the room. You have to make that deliberate, up-close tap. So the card is on, the secure connection is made. Now for the most critical part, sharing the payment info. And if you're thinking, hold on, sending my credit card number through the air sounds really risky, well, you're right, it would be. And that's exactly why your card doesn't do it. Instead, it behaves like a little secret agent on a mission. Get this. It never sends your actual permanent card number into the open. Instead, for every single transaction, it creates a brand new, one-time use secret note. It's like a message in a spy movie, you know? The kind that's designed to self-destruct the instant it's been read. And this secret note has 2 key ingredients. First, there's a token. That's basically a digital alias, a random string of numbers that stands in for your real card number. And second, there's a dynamic CVV, a unique security code that's generated on the spot just for this one purchase. It has never been used before, and it will never, ever be used again. And this is why it's so brilliant. Even if a super sophisticated hacker was somehow standing right there and could intercept that one message, it wouldn't do them any good. The source material puts it perfectly. The data they captured would be useless for a second transaction. By the time they have it, the code has already expired. The note has self-destructed. Mission over. So when you put all of this together, the power from thin air, the private handshake, the self-destructing message, how does this cool new method really stack up against the old ways of paying? Let's take a look. You can really see the evolution here. Remember swiping that old magnetic stripe? Yeah, it was fast, but its security was pretty weak because that data never changed. Then we moved on to dipping the chip. That was a massive security upgrade because it created a unique code just like NFC. But you remember, right? It was so slow. Tapping, though, gives us the absolute best of both worlds. You get the ironclad security of the chip card, but at the lightning speed of a tap. It really is the fastest and the safest way to pay. Which, of course, brings us back to that one final logical question. If this technology is so smart and so powerful, why on earth is the range so incredibly short? Why can't it just work from inside your pocket? And the answer is actually the most elegant part of the whole design. That short range, that's the whole point. It makes sure that every single payment is intentional.
NFC was specifically designed to be a whisper between two devices that are practically touching, not a shout that anyone across the room could overhear. Its biggest weakness is, in fact, its greatest strength. So what we're left with are these little pieces of plastic that have a tiny brain and a quiet voice, able to wake themselves up and have a secure, secret conversation just to get a job done. It really makes you wonder, now that your payment card can talk, what's going to be the next everyday object to join the conversation?